Hi everyone, welcome to this very special River Publishers video where I'm joined by Rajeev Prasad, also from River, and Professor Rute Sofia and Paulo S.Rufino Henrique to discuss their society Connaissance and its work with River Publishers. So thank you for joining me everyone, welcome. Perhaps Rute, as chair of Connaissance, you can start by explaining a little bit about what exactly Connaissance is and kind of how it came about.
Okay, so first of all, I've just entered Conasense. So Conasense is a society created by Professor Ramji Prasad that has been already existing for several years, and the aim was to, let's say, to go beyond 5G services with an interdisciplinary perspective. So the idea was normally we work in cellular networking and in telecommunications, more focused on the technical aspects. And here the aim is that 6G services and beyond 5G services actually have the human in the loop and are about machine learning also, of course, the integration of intelligence. And therefore, the purpose of the scientific society, the key aim, was to assist in developing the brainstorming that is needed in order to push this interdisciplinary perspective. So the interdisciplinary perspective of Connaissance joins communications, of course, but also other very relevant areas such as sensing, satellites and navigation, and also, of course, services. Okay, so taking a look into the services that are provided to the end user. So more recently, we've also added a track that we think is absolutely important, which is sustainability. Still, so a new term, let's say, not so new, but a new term normally coined with energy aspects, but sustainability goes a little bit beyond greenness, and this is something that we would like to explore for 6G services.
Okay, fantastic. And you mentioned it kind of bringing together communication, navigation, sensing, and all these kind of different things. Could you perhaps give some examples of kind of some technologies or some services that Connaissance is looking at?
Yes, so for instance, IoT is in the core of this because IoT services, today we are applying them to help us in our daily living in everything. Okay, this can range from health, so personal IoT, can also, so where we have also very critical aspects because it goes beyond what we use today, for instance, fitness, the physical health, but actually even mental health. Okay, so sensors can assist us. As we know, we have very recent evolution in terms of wireless communications being used for pattern and for detecting sleep patterns, for instance. So going beyond movement. Okay, it's an example. But there are other sectors where this is critical. So so for instance, manufacturing or agriculture, which is also a very important area in terms of humanity. And so these services, I'm mentioning more IoT, but services that go into these vertical domains are important. And IoT is in the core of this because one key part of 6G relates with the sensing part, large-scale sensing environments where we have or we expect to have devices that are clever, let's say clever in the sense that they integrate some intelligence individually, but also collectively. Okay, so like we have today, for instance, already starting with swarms of unmanned, so UAVs, okay, but or with robots on the manufacturing domain. But it is expected that we go beyond that with 6G, and therefore we will have to think that our internet will now be populated by very clever, not just static sensors or what we call dumb sensors, but very clever machines that can have cleverness or intelligence individually, so reasoning individually, but also collectively. And I think that in terms of services, this is an aspect that has to really be carefully looked into. And in terms of technology, implies a number of aspects from the sensing, so large-scale sensing features, okay, tactile internet, what people today call the multiverse, okay, so sending a lot of data across infrastructures that today are not prepared to do this, and how can we do it in a distributed way.
Okay, and kind of what you're saying, I would imagine security and looking at that aspect of it's very important as well.
Absolutely. When we go to decentralization of services, security, and also trustworthiness above all, is an aspect that has to be, how can I say, integrated by design. And today is not integrated by design. So this means that it's not just a matter of designing a sensor or, let's say, a device in 6G, an antenna, in a way that it can be later secured. Actually, security has to go, how can I say, has to ensure that we can, for instance, provide some degree of trustworthiness and also provide protection to privacy, so privacy preservation across all layers. So this means from the signal until an application that is developed to provide to a user.
Okay, and sorry, Rajeev.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add, or rather ask Rute another question in relation to what we were just discussing. Would standardization be also one of the aspects, do you think Connaissance should be looking into in any of these areas?
Connaissance should try, so as technological area, of course, no, it's not a technological area, but the research impact towards standardization definitely is a must. As we all know, it's something that is always missing. Now, giving more from the European perspective, it's always a problem. Okay, in the USA, we work in research in a very different way, and therefore this gap doesn't exist so much. But what I'm trying to say is that without creating this link towards standardization, in particular when we are dealing in environments such as health or environments such as agriculture or manufacturing that have traditional aspects, critical applications, specific certification methodologies, if we don't create that link, then we will always have a problem. So I would say that Connaissance expects to interact heavily with standardization, but not necessarily evolve as a society that integrates. So would be a facilitator, not an entity that would be helping in creating or developing parts of standards.
And what kind of activities is Connaissance currently involved with, kind of specifically?
So currently we are creating a new Connaissance, as you possibly know. Okay, so as said, let's say there was a chapter closed until 2021. So now with the new board, let's say, there is the creation now of a new design. So right now we are focusing on first on reinforcing, let's say, the technological areas, so the technological scientific impact. So this meant first looking into which areas we believe and the Connaissance community believes are important to pursue towards 6G. And the second aspect was, of course, to develop a series of actions that help in strengthening first this, okay, so this core. So this means, for instance, creating, so we have, and Connaissance had already brainstorming workshops that were developed every year, usually twice in different locations. So this is something we are going to keep, not necessarily twice per year, eventually once per year, where we bring together so international experts of different, let's say, with different visions, industry, academia, different levels also, let's say, okay, so also involving regulators and involving standardization. And the idea there is, of course, to ignite discussion in a way that has some method so that we can come out with new ideas. This is absolutely important for 6G. The other aspect, of course, that we want to pursue is actually to, as said, to create a society that also has technological impact, where we can involve, let's say, a younger audience, also students, etc. So for that, we are also creating or giving a new shape to the Connaissance symposium. So from this year onwards, we are giving it a shape of a peer-reviewed, paper-oriented symposium. So this means that we will have these two types of approaches. Okay, one brainstorming with a different level of seniority, let's say. Another, a conference that helps us in in bringing different people and open to the community. So in other words, in broadening the horizon of Connaissance. So right now and for 2022, this is what we expect to build. And of course, by igniting this, so the community, we expect also to bring novelties to create a program for 2023 and onwards, of course.
Of course, and you have the 12th symposium in June this year that's looking at 6G communication services and sustainability. Would you like to just talk a little bit about what people can expect from that?
Yes, so we are organizing here, as said, we are giving this new shape to the Connaissance Symposium. So this means that we are organizing it here in Munich, but also in hybrid mode due to COVID. So it means we will, luckily this time we can have more people here in Munich. This will be from the 27th until the 29th of June. So it's a 2.5 day symposium with different tracks. So we have a student forum, as explained, we are trying to create that, meaning also igniting some thought about this and some scientific dissemination in students from the three different cycles that we have in education, so undergrads, master level, PhD level. We have also the regular peer tracking, paper-oriented tracks, and on the different areas of Connaissance. And we have also keynote speakers here coming from industry and from academia. And of course, this year on a special edition, we have also a hackathon. So if this succeeds, we will repeat it. This hackathon has a specific focus on IoT sustainability applications. Of course, it can't be as broad as Connaissance. And so it is organized also in hybrid mode, runs over the 2.5 days. And we already are expecting a number of very interesting projects. So the hackathon is also supported by a number of different European projects. So that we are working with, so research and innovation actions that have provided different challenges and also some different tooling, so that researchers and students, in the case of this hackathon, can interact and play with new things that are being done in different areas of IoT. So it's a specific focus of Conasense.
Great, and I'll put a link with the video so anyone listening who's interested, they can go and find out a bit more about this. Thank you, Rajeev. Perhaps would you like to start talking a little bit about the relationship between Connaissance and River and our publications that we have for this?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you, Rute. That's great vision and action. I know that you guys are already taking as we speak. And Connaissance already has a legacy that it created in influencing the research community across the world. Paulo, who is the secretary of Connaissance, he had a very successful publication of a 6G book, and I know that Rute, you're involved with several of the publications as a special issue, not special issue, it's as an issue of Connaissance in Journal of Mobile Multimedia, plus many other publications that you guys are involved in. So just for the audience out there, keep looking out for Connaissance, its library. Besides books and journals, there are a lot of other contents coming up, and yeah, River is very excited to continue working and developing the whole concept and vision, which Rute just now explained. And podcast that we are hosting right now, that is something we hope to continue building on and make a regular output, if you like, a dissemination out of Connaissance, and more details we should discuss and share with the community.
Paulo, as someone who's already authored, written with us before, perhaps you'd like to talk a little bit about publications for Connaissance and kind of the importance of disseminating the information there.
Yes, of course. Thank you. So, yeah, first and foremost, it's been a pleasure to be on this journey in this research area, which is Conasense, with Professor Rute Sofia, that I know a long time ago, and I'm learning with her at the same time in this interesting journey. And in terms of publications, based on the core of this symposium, the next one that is coming up now in June, at Fortiss, in which Professor Rute is leading the symposium. We are thinking of a new book which will come up with participants which will be taking part of this symposium, which will consolidate knowledge and information in several areas of research, which Professor Rute Sofia already explained to us. Sensing, services, navigations, which also include a myriad of services as well. And just to give some examples, based on the last year event held in Germany, we are preparing a new journal, which will come out soon, and also a book which will synthesize those 2 days of events we had. So bringing people from different industry like aerospace, optical wireless communication systems, new ways of communications, also the research areas from different countries. So it was a very important area, including nowadays area of research like quantum communications and quantum computing, which also will be very important for the future of development in terms of new technologies. So I tell everyone to stay close watching us, and also everyone is welcoming to join and participate on the 12th edition of this symposium, Connaissance Symposium, that Professor Rute mentioned here, which will be held in Germany, Munich this year in June. And for more details, please visit connaissance.org. All the details are there, and call for papers, and also hackathon. We are bringing people from Brazil, from US, and all parts of Europe and Asia as well, including India and Japan. So everybody's welcome. So that's the message.
Great, thank you, Paolo. I'm afraid we're kind of coming to the end of our time, but perhaps, Rute, do you have any final thoughts on kind of the future of Connaissance and your kind of hopes for it?
Well, I mean, I hope that, so we are establishing this path to 6G, as said, and we have a very tight deadline of 2030. So
Yeah.
very, very tight. So I hope that Connaissance helps also in, let's say, it's more than creating awareness, but actually igniting discussion. It has already has that, okay, very interesting discussion on aspects that maybe we need to further proceed with, and aspects that maybe we need to drop actually, so that we can really create this vision of 6G with the horizon that is being proposed.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. It's been really interesting to learn a bit more about Connaissance, and yeah, we look forward to working with you further.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you.